While the world was watching a shooting at a gala dinner in Washington last night, something equally extraordinary was happening 34 kilometers wide in the Persian Gulf. 20 minutes after the United States naval blockade of Iranian ports took full effect, a Chinese-owned tanker called the MV Rich Starry quietly pulled out of anchorage near Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates and pointed its bow toward the Strait of Hormuz. It was flying a Malawian flag. Malawi, a landlocked country in Southeast Africa with no coastline and no navy, flying its flag on a Chinese-owned tanker carrying Iranian methanol through the most contested waterway on Earth. The ship's automatic identification system transponder had been spoofing its position for 11 days. It turned back when it reached the blockade line. Then, in the early hours of the morning, it tried again and slipped through. One tanker, one fake flag, one landlocked African nation whose maritime registry was apparently available for the right price, and 250,000 barrels of Iranian energy reached its destination despite the most powerful navy in the world standing in the way. That single vessel tells you everything about the real war being fought right now. This is not a military war anymore. It is an economic chess match between the United States and China played out over a 34-kilometer strait, and China has exactly 3 moves available. Move 1. Confront the US Navy directly. Send Chinese warships to escort tankers through the blockade. Dare American destroyers to board them. This would crater energy markets globally and risk direct military conflict between the world's 2 largest nuclear powers. Beijing knows this. It will not happen. Move 2. Absorb the loss. Buy replacement crude from other suppliers. Russia has ramped up deliveries to China, but replacement barrels cost $10 to $12 more per barrel. China's independent refineries in Shandong province process 90% of Iranian oil reaching China. They depend on below-market prices. Switching suppliers costs real money, real pain. Move 3. Use leverage. China is Iran's only meaningful economic partner, Iran's only significant customer for oil, Iran's only diplomatic lifeline. Washington is banking on Beijing, using that leverage to pressure Tehran toward a deal. And here is the Swiss perspective on what this actually means. The United States has constructed this blockade not just to hurt Iran. It has constructed it to force China to choose. Either Beijing pressures Tehran to negotiate, or Beijing absorbs escalating energy costs that slow Chinese manufacturing, or Beijing confronts America militarily. Every option on that menu serves American strategic interests in some way. If China pressures Iran into a deal, America wins the war diplomatically. If China absorbs higher energy costs, Chinese manufacturing becomes less competitive. American manufacturers benefit. If China confronts the US Navy, the world rallies behind America. From Rheinach in Basel-Landschaft watching this through Swiss eyes, this is not an Iran war anymore. This is a grand strategic confrontation between the United States and China, using Iran and the Strait of Hormuz as the chessboard. And the MV Rich Starry, flying a Malawian flag in the middle of the night, tells you which side is currently winning. For Switzerland, this matters enormously. Swiss trade is deeply connected to both the American and Chinese economies. Swiss pharmaceutical giants, watch manufacturers, and precision engineering companies operate supply chains that touch both superpowers. When America and China play economic chess, the pieces that get knocked off the board are often European and Swiss businesses caught in the middle. For Europe, the stakes are identical. European manufacturers compete with Chinese factories. If Chinese energy costs rise, European goods become relatively more competitive. But if this confrontation escalates into something larger, European trade suffers enormously. The MV Rich Starry slipped through the blockade in the early hours of this morning. The chess match continues, and the board is 34 kilometers wide.